This is a Lamley preview, the second Hot Wheels preview that I've done for you this week. First one was Hot Wheels Entertainment, the latest mix coming with that fantastic Pixar Pizza Planet truck. It's going to be hitting in droves here in the next few days, at least this month at some point. And the same goes for the next premium set I'm going to show you today. In fact, you kind of know where I'm going because you see all of the Hot Wheels Team Transport trucks all parked out here. I have the models elsewhere. I've thrown some random models on there. But they are here to welcome the next two members of the club because the next set of Team Transport is coming also this month, very, very soon, to a hobby dealer or store near you. And we are going to showcase those today. They are fantastic, and I cannot wait to open them. Mattel sent the next batch to me to preview for you. Two of the three sets are right here, and there is one other one that you are already familiar with. They sent this one as well. I'm not opening it because you already know it. It is the 66 Supernova and the Retro Rig. It has been very popular. A lot of you have been after it, but it's been hard to get for some of you. So know that the next batch is coming, and this will be in there as well for those of you that missed it the first time. But these are the two we're going to focus on today. Now, with my my need to make my displays perfect, as you can see, my background display, which is always Hot Wheels Premium, licensed Premium. That's why the poor little Pizza Planet truck isn't in there. But I have the next three spots available. Team Transport is usually released in 3, so I've changed things around, and I'm going to make the third set. The third set from the latest release of Team Transport. I'm going to put Supreme together with these next two. So we'll put these right here in order to welcome the next two sets. That's just probably my little quirk, but that I want to do. It doesn't make sense to some of you. That's fine. We're going to open them up. Let's start with this one, the Mercedes-Benz 190E Fleet Flyer. We'll look at the back of this package so you kind of know what you're looking at. There's the information that some of you want. Then there's the rest of that mumbo jumbo. And let's get to this. You always have to start with Julian's artwork, which we've got a racetrack look here. It's different than the other one. We'll get to that in a second. Always, I think the backgrounds are always a little bit different. This is obviously Falken tires, and which is an iconic racing deco. We should just open it up. Let's open it up. Okay, there's our first one. We'll move this off to the side a little bit. It's kind of nice to see some 90s era models all together here. Let's start first with the Fleet Flyer. We've seen the Fleet Flyer released a few times. We have the Supreme truck, we have the Momo truck, I think the BRE. I think those are the three. So this is the fourth version of the Fleet Flyer, which is prolific considering it wasn't in the first batch of Team Transport. All of the details. Now, one thing that I will note is that if you see the wheels, these are the 6-spoke wheels, not the 6 spokes, the newer ones. They're the older ones. And one thing that Jimmy said in the preview that we did is that these were going to be changed. It looks like they weren't. So these are the wheels that are going to stay on the set for now. I don't know why I said for now, but it looks like these are the wheels that they have picked for the truck, which are different than the Mercedes. Truck looks fantastic. One thing I love about this is that these are licensed liveries with Greddy, with JDM Legends, BRE, Momo, Supreme, and now Falken. It's cool to put all these trucks together. Maybe I'll do that at the end and see just this fleet of trucks. All right, now getting to the 190E. This is an all-timer for me. I absolutely love this casting. I know I'm not alone. I actually brought out a couple from previous releases. We've only seen this in premium so far. First release of the 190E is still my favorite in jet black. It's the most iconic look for it. Sitting on the Aero Real Riders from Modern Classics a couple of years ago in Car Culture, and we've seen it 2 more times in Car Culture in black, and then recently in the Momo Deco in red, and then of course we've had the very, very cool period correct version. I'm going to keep this one in the case for now. I've taken it out enough to showcase it, but it's going to stay in its case for now. The beautiful period correct version as well. So now we have, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, the 5th version, first one without the Aero wheels, and it looks so cool on the TE37, what we call them, tribute wheels, and Falken Deco. Momo on there as well, K&W. This is just a super, super cool car. So glad that these are full premium and that you get the details on the front and the back, and of course the side. There, so we have, if I just add the Supreme to it, we have kind of a little 90s era kind of tribute right there. Next one. Nissan Fairlady Z and the Sakura Sprinter. Now this, I think, is super cool because not only this is going full vintage, right? We got Car Culture, Team Transport. All of these are, you know, licensed decos, Falken, Supreme, Momo, Gretty, you know, I've already named it. This one even goes full retro because the car itself, and we get to it in a second, is based on a real race car. And we will get to that. But let's first look at the art once again. Another racing scene from Julian. Looking fantastic in the background. It's always fun to try and get all the details out of there. And that's not the glare on the card. I thought that was a glare on the card, but it's actually the sun shining off the car and the truck. That's just a Julian detail that is always just cool to look for. All right, you're looking at that now. Let's look at the model before we open it up. Vintage Nissan livery, which is so cool. Love that they gone with the vintage Nissan. And then let's get to the car, but let's open it up first. Okay, here is the truck. Like I said, vintage look for this, the Sakura Sprinter. Red bed or red and then white cab. Sitting, of course, on the Real Riders. More of the vintage look. Looks cool in the back with the white doors. This is simplicity at its best. And the one thing that's great about this truck is you can start adding all kinds of Nissan Skylines, whatever else you want to this one. It's almost worth buying 2 or 3 sets just to have a fleet of trucks to be transporting all the cool vintage Nissans that Hot Wheels has done. So I'm sensing some cool potential right there with that truck. That is fantastic. But the highlight here is definitely the model. So let's look at the casting first. This is the Nissan Fairlady Z. There's always some confusion about this casting because there's several that it looks somewhat like. For example, this from Car Culture is the custom Datsun 240Z. That is a different casting. It looks somewhat similar, but you can see there are some details if you look closely that there are some differences there. But I'll make it a little more clear for you. This is based on the Fugu Z, right? And then, but actually, what this is actually this casting. This, like you said, here is the Nissan Fairlady Z. This casting was based on Juna Mai's car, the designer, the Hot Wheels designer. But you can notice that the noses are different. This was a basic model. When it was made premium for Japan Historics 2 is when it got its new nose. So this is the second release of this premium version of the Fairlady Z. Does that make any sense? Hopefully it does. I can just actually put these here in the background so you can look at them. But that's exactly what this casting is. So there's always a little bit of confusion there. We're actually going to see the 240Z, the custom 240Z, released really soon in the RLC. This one is actually another version because it has an opening hood. Whew, that's a lot of Z's. All right, but here's what's cool about this casting is this is based on an actual Nissan racing car. It's more of a test car. It didn't actually race. It was the Omori factory. I hope I'm saying that right. Omori factory test model, the GTS2 or the 240ZG, and a whole bunch of enhancements done for this one for Nissan to test race. I don't think it was ever actually raced, but this is a licensed deco, and it is fantastic. One that has to be premium to get all the details on the front and the rear, so on and so forth. The Real Riders right here, I don't know what they're called. They've been around for a while, but they look fantastic in black. And this just has as cool of a vintage look on a Nissan as there is. And I would say this, I like that they use this casting because I really like the 240Z casting, but the fact that the rear wheels are large in the back of the older 240Z casting has always bothered me a bit. I still think it's cool looking, but this one just looks proper in its vintage deco. All right, there you go. Let's go ahead and add this little trio right here to the family. Tell me what you think. Look for these very, very soon. They should be out momentarily. Let's get all these trucks together. You've looked at the models. I'll just kind of finish off by showing some of these off and the music running. Especially, it's just fun to look at all the trucks we've got so far with new truck castings coming, new hauler castings. Thanks, everybody. Bye.